Hey guys, it's Kanisha with Peace, Love, and Faith. And today's video is really going to be on the way that when you ask the universe, God, the divine, questions, you ask questions and you're ready to actually heal and receive what comes up. It's not always pretty or fun. That is an understatement there, but it's absolutely needed. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I'm currently healing through. I had asked God like an actual I had like a heart to heart where I was like, God, what's keeping me from being in my union with my divine counterpart, my divine masculine, my twin flame? What is this? Like, I feel like I know who this person is. You keep leading me this way. I keep following things. I'm healing. I'm also learning to love myself. Like, some of, if not the most deepest upsets, have come to the core to be healed, and that's what a twin flame will do. That they will trigger that in your life, and they don't even have to be like physically in your physically in your life to do it for you to heal. They bring up plenty for you to unpack. Okay. And this is what I've learned about the difference between like a false twin flame and a true twin flame. Is a false twin flame just wanted to have like fun and just like hang out, and like there was no like serious talk whatsoever. Like we did not have serious conversations whatsoever. Um, but with the person that I believe and that I'm exploring with personally, it like there are things that come up that I'm just like, yeah, I was not prepared for that. And a lot of the times they're not even conscious of it. They're not even conscious of the fact that they have triggered that within me, and probably vice versa. But I did something today where I had like this intuition, this thought come to mind, and I am still thinking it might have been an ego based thought process, but healing came from it. So I'm not even going to try to like analyze that or figure it out. But I had this thought and I followed it. I followed it. Okay. And it was out of my character. It's not something that I usually do. And it wasn't something that I felt the need to do or had done in a long time. Um, and so I did this thing, and I guess I can just tell you, I just looked at a person's friends list. That's all I did, and you can tell and learn a lot about a person by their friends list. But it brought up this insecurity in me because I had recognized someone new on their friends list that, like, for the most part, I kind of knew everyone, or it made sense, like just browsing through. But this person was a new face that I had recognized from another platform where I was just like, oh, okay. And so all of a sudden, these insecurities just like arose in me. And what I was a little upset about was when I went to go do this thing that was out of like, I don't usually go and check someone's friends list. Like, I don't feel the guidance to do that. But this was like a past version, like coming up to the surface to be healed. This is something I would have done in high school, and it's this energy that's coming up, and I followed it. And then afterwards I was like, why? And I had to sit with myself. I was like, why did I do that? Like, first of all, that didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. And now I'm having to like move through some things. Like, that was almost really unnecessary. And then I was also upset because PJ Mask was on the back. Like, y'all, I'm being really vulnerable right now. PJ Mask is on the back, and like the background. And as I'm pulling up what I'm about to do, it says, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I heard it, but I ignored it. So, anyways, now that I've shared that with y'all. And so I had to like sit with myself because it just did not feel good. It didn't feel in alignment with who I am. And so I like felt my feelings, and what came up was like past relationships where I had past like boyfriends or whoever I was seeing, like someone would come onto their social media and it was out of the norm, or like I think this person triggered me because they're really beautiful, and so I just like had these deep insecurities come up that had arisen from past relationships, and I had to go spend time with that teenage Kanisha, or that like early 20s Kanisha, and just remind her of her worth and her value, and that she was enough, and that I actually didn't have to choose to feel that way, nor did I have to stay or stick with someone out of the fear of being alone. And that was a lot. It was a lot to come up, guys. Like, my nervous system went into a frenzy. I had literally had to do the mirror exercise. I did breath work. I did meditations. I did journaling. I sang. I danced. I did everything that I could possibly do to get myself back into the just knowing of my true power and who I am, and that I don't have to compare myself to anyone, that I don't have to convince anyone that I am the best choice or that I would be good for them. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. And so when this came up, I could have easily just like judged myself and be like, Kanisha, that was what the like that's my initial feeling. And then I was like, wait, like there's this trauma that is coming up. There's something else deeper here. So as I felt into it, it was really like this fear of being second best. This is something that I've experienced a lot in my life where I was looking back at like past competitions where I would end up in like second place all the time. It was never Kanisha was in first place, and I'm just done saying the story, but that was a belief that I had forever. And so it would show up and it would hurt the worst in romantic relationships where you have a connection with someone and they feel they have a connection with you too, and then they're like, but there's always just like this, there's something, and it didn't have to even be a person, it was just you were not the choice, that's just what it is. And so I had to look at this part of myself where I wasn't choosing myself, I wasn't putting myself as a priority, where I was focused more on someone else than myself. And as I asked God how to heal this, man, did he give me different tools. He brought up different people for me to listen to who had like really understanding what it means to be in my divine feminine energy, and what it means to receive, and what it means to use my voice and to speak up and to be in my body and to feel my feelings and not have to question myself all the time, and to trust myself and have confidence in myself. Like all these things were coming up. And so I was able to go in and start to heal this version of myself that was always very jealous, very comparison. I always felt like there was someone prettier than me. Like, of course, why wouldn't he want to like date her or talk to her? She's absolutely gorgeous. And then completely just like not paying attention to all of the things that I am and all of the things that I bring to the table and all the things that are so beautiful and unique and just brilliant about myself, because I was automatically assuming this thing or this person was somehow better than me. And that's not healthy at all whatsoever. And so as you start to really heal and be aware of yourself and aware of those patterns, and that was something I asked God, was like, what's keeping me? And it's almost like, even if I gave you this thing, Kanisha, would you treat it the way that you had before, believing that you were unworthy and not enough, and that you weren't deserving to actually have someone choose you, someone want to be with you? Or are you going to honor that you are absolutely worthy of it, and that you are perfect for this, and that they are perfect for you, and that they do want you? Or are you gonna go back to the old patterns and like self-sabotage it, essentially? And so um I hadn't had a reason to be jealous or feel the need to compare myself in a long time. So I think in my mind, I didn't think it was something that I'd have to deal with. But when it came up, like I said, y'all, like it hit me hard. I was in instant tears. I was like having to like feel my feelings. Like back then, that shit would have knocked me out, y'all. Like that would have knocked me out for like a solid 2 weeks, maybe a month. Like it would have been devastating. Like it would have rocked my world. But this time, like I just like felt it all come up. And I just allowed myself to cry, allowed myself to feel through it. I was like, okay, why am I angry? Why am I triggered? And then it just kind of led to one thing after another. And it really stemmed from childhood and just feeling second best, feeling like I wasn't enough. But I was like, this is not my story anymore. In my reality, I am first place. I am first choice. I am the only choice, actually, in my reality. Like, I will put myself as a priority. No one gets to be put on a pedestal in my reality. I will put myself on a pedestal, and I'm going to only have healthy relationships and relationships that are willing to have an equal give and take. I'm like literally done settling in these areas of having to ask where I stand with someone, having to question whether or not like they actually want to spend time with. Those are like, I think part of what I had to really honor about myself is that no one will ever have to question where they stand with me, ever. ever. I will always be 100% so clear about where you stand in my life. And I'm not going to have you question it. I don't want you to ever think. And sometimes I have to wonder if I'm doing this because it's been done to me, and I feel like I'm really working on overcompensating or giving too much. But like, I'm always be straight up with someone, like, this is where you stand with me, this is what I desire from this relationship, this friendship, this partnership, whatever. And if you can meet me there, perfect. I will continue to meet you there, as long as you can continue to meet me there in peace and love. And if not, then I need to know, I need to like be very clear with myself and pull my energy back and respect myself and honor myself and value myself. But those are things that take practice, they take awareness and communication with self and honesty with self, of recognizing, okay, am I staying here because I'm afraid that if I don't, I'm gonna miss out on something that was mine. But like, you don't miss out on what's yours. You're naturally attracted, and this is something I'm really learning, are the things that are for me. I just naturally attract in my life. Things just unfolded, and I'm just like, okay, God, like I completely surrendered here, and all of a sudden you're like giving me this and a trip and beautiful things, and it's really sweet. Like, okay, I'm not doing anything besides loving myself and trusting the process, and really amazing things had unfolded and happened. But as soon as I get like, okay, is this really for me? And I start to control, like things get farther away, or they're just not working, or it feels like there's an avoidant energy, something's happening, I get insecurities. Like, it's learning to really surrender into the process, and surrender that when things come up, all you have to do is feel your feelings, which aren't easy. That's something I realized. I was like, man, I always tell people, just feel your feelings. I'm over here struggling, y'all. I was struggling. I was just like, I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad. Like, I was like, I'm mad. And then I cried. I was like, I'm actually really sad. And then after I was done crying, I kind of laughed, because I was like, girl, you're the one who got you in here. Like, and then I had compassion and love. So like, I had to feel all the feelings. But it's a very intense thing to have those feelings come up. But guess what? I didn't die. I'm still here. And I was able to bring love to that space. I spent some time with teenage Kanisha, and then I had to go younger because that's kind of where it stemmed from. It was like around 6 or 7. And really, again, just claim my power and my truth and my divinity, and remember who the fuck I am. And like, really recognize the power that I hold within myself, and looking at the fact that I was looking for something outside of myself. But what I look for and what I need doesn't come outside of myself, and comes from within. It comes from God. And as I give that to myself, God will move through who he needs to in order to provide some things for me. But I don't have to go get it or seek it from other people. And it's a lot of energy, y'all. It's a lot of energy trying to go get attention, or like approval, or just like a fucking text message. When I stopped waiting for fucking text messages, my life changed. Like, there was literally like 2 weeks ago where I was like, I'm not even gonna worry or even tell the story that this person ever texted me. I'm just gonna literally leave it be. And I just got over it. I was like, whatever. Like, if they text me, they text me. If they don't, they don't. Like, I don't care. And I literally gave it no energy. And not even like 2 days later, this person texted me out of nowhere, and I was like, did they text the wrong person? I was like, and it's like 10:30. And so, but it was a really sweet text. It was really cute. Like, it was just like, okay. But it was like, once I came to this point where like I didn't care, and I just went with the flow, and I was just like taking care of myself and paying attention to me and loving me, then things that like I desire just kind of fall into place. That's crazy. So know that when things come up, it's because you're either asking go to the next level, or you're just healing deeper, going deeper into love. But really, you're going to the next level. You can't really go backwards. And it's really important that you are surrendering to the process. I could have been like, God, this is what I desire, and then it comes to me, and then I could like shut down and be in that frenzy forever. And it's like, no, this was just coming up to be healed. This was just coming up to be released. And by the time this day was over, I'm like, why? I don't have to compare. I don't have to judge. I don't have to compete in my reality. Like, the only person I'm competing against is myself, and that is to not continue my old ways, or continue to be on autopilot. And yeah, it was an intense 2 days. I ain't gonna lie. It was, I love when someone is like, I hope you're doing okay. And you're just like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna be just okay. Um, and the other thing that I had to come to the realization too is because I've been through a lot in my life. Things that I like, I've shared a lot with certain people in my life, but man, I haven't even shared everything with them. And I mean, I don't feel the need to have to, but it's like I've always realized how I believed I had to be really strong. And I'm now coming to a place in my life where I'm like, it's okay if you're not, Kanisha. It's okay if you're not strong. Like, God has put beautiful people in your life that you can be like, hey, like, I'm not doing okay right now. And you have to allow yourself that honesty and allow yourself to be completely vulnerable in that space, because what's really been on my heart the last, I'm going on a side tangent, y'all, but what's really been on my heart the last few days is like the passing of Twitch, the passing of the guy who played the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name, but like, I was just like, why are we losing our men to suicide? And it's just because we have been so programmed, especially our men, that like it's not okay to talk about your feeling. It's not okay to move through things that have come up. You want to like not be vulnerable. You want to shut it down because it just bites you in the ass, from what I've heard. Just things that like really should be okay, and yet our men, and even some of the women, if they're still sitting in their unhealed masculine energy of feeling like it's not okay to speak up, it's not okay to talk. But I think the more that I heal and relax into my healed divine feminine energy, the more that I'm learning it's okay to feel these ways. It's okay to speak up and be like, this is what I need. It's okay to know that like this is a self-care practice and I need to do today. Maybe I need to sleep more and not do anything today. Like, to really be that honest with yourself and allow yourself that, because you're human. These feelings, they can't hurt you. However, they can give the impression and illusion that they can, and they can consume you and they can feel overwhelming. But to really, I had to step back and be really grateful for the processes that I have, to be able to move through those things. Like I said, breathwork, meditation, the mirror exercise has been a big one. I have a group of friends that I can like, hey, I'm fucking working through something right now. Do you have time to like do a video chat? And they're like, hell yeah. And they help me move through the mirror exercise and come to a place of peace and help me get onto the light side of things instead of the dark side, because the dark side will consume you if you're not careful. And so I've had to really build a system, a routine, to be able to make sure that I get through these things. And I really hope that you guys, if you're moving through something similar, that you give yourself that same opportunity to have a system when you do come into these upsets or these traumas that arise, because we all have trauma. Every single person has trauma. You can't tell me that you've never had a trauma. You have fucking trauma somewhere. Okay, until you actually, some people don't even know they had a trauma until they start healing, and then all of a sudden they're having like flashbacks from when they're like 2. So this is why a lot of people get a little afraid about even healing, is because they're like, I don't want to know what comes up, because they already know their mind and their brain is protecting them from something. Okay, so anyways, that was a longer video that I wanted to do, but I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what I was moving through. If you find yourself moving through something similar or needing support, or guidance, please feel free to reach out. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, here. I'm just really desiring to be able to just help people come to, one, the realization that they're not alone. And I know most people know that, but like sometimes you have to remind them. Sometimes I get into this place where I feel very lonely and I feel alone, and then I stop and I think about all the people who are in my life, and I'm like, I swear, if I just picked up the phone and called one of them, they'd be like my best friend Shanika. I know she's watching my videos. She'd be like, I'm on my way. I'm grabbing baby G and we're coming. Like, I know that I have it, but it's ego will get you in that space of like, or you can call it the devil, whatever you want to call it, will get you into that space of making you feel like it's just you, and you don't have to be there. So anyways, I absolutely love you guys. If you would like coaching, look at the link below, and I hope you guys are well. You take care. Peace, love, and faith.